Hey guys, Zom Fox here, and we have another Michigan Panther going to the NFL in cornerback Tino Ellis, who is heading to Miami to play for the Dolphins. Without further ado, Tino Ellis was a very high-picked cornerback. He was the fourth pick in one of the cornerback rounds, and in terms of his time with the Panthers, he had one interception, which he, lost 10 yards on, but he did have 4 pass defenses, and he had 35 total tackles, with 26 of them being solo, while only playing 9 games. He was a very solid corner and was a part of the reason why that Michigan Panthers defense for the first half of the season was the best in the league. And as for his time in, NFL, he had actually had some experience with the Dolphins before, so it makes sense why he's heading here. As for the team itself that he's coming back to, he is currently not on the roster naturally since he just signed, but he definitely has a shot to get pretty high. When you look at this roster, it includes a lot of guys that you might not have heard of. Without further ado, you can look at the starters, Xavier Howard and Byron Jones. Definitely heard of them. They're both solid. Byron Jones wasn't as great as people thought he was, but Xavier Howard's been a top shutdown cornerback for the last couple of years. Then Nick Needham and Noah Igonagane, a second string. Third string is Keon Croson and D'Angelo Ross. Then fourth string, you have Quincy Wilson and Elijah Campbell. So, him coming back to this team, you can look at those fourth and third stringers. Elijah Campbell and Quincy Wilson have appeared in a decent amount of games, but mainly special teams for Elijah. The most tackles he had in a year is 2. Quincy Wilson has had, a few tackles every year, but he's gotten significantly less overall playing time, as he was a second-round pick, but he seems to be going to that bust-type category. This is a reason why the Colts didn't want to keep him. Then Keon Croson was a 7th-round pick by New England, and he actually has played a couple of decent years. He actually was pretty decent when he started a few games for Houston back in 2020, but he is third string now. D'Angelo Ross, undrafted free agent heading into his second year. New England let him walk, so it's not a good sign for him, but the Dolphins are going to give him a chance, so we'll see. Then you get into these other guys, and Noah Igonagane is definitely going up there to that potential bust category. The fact is that he might also be kind of forced into the bust role due to the Dolphins, but as the Dolphins really only used 2 cornerbacks. But the fact is, he started and played in less games than he did his rookie year, despite being a first-round pick in 2020. So his stats aren't good at all, and with 2 other cornerbacks who are definitely better than him, it kind of makes that pick look even worse ever since they got Byron Jones. As for Nick Needham, he's heading into his 4th year. He's played in 3 years, and he's actually had 2 interceptions every year in the games he shows up in. As whenever he does play for the Dolphins, he usually does have very solid numbers when they do use that 3 cornerback system. So he's definitely better than Noah, and so he would be viable for a starter, as he also even gets a sack every year, which 2 interceptions and a sack every year is pretty good. But yeah, their starters include former second-team All-Pro and Pro Bowler Byron Jones back in 2018. He hasn't been, I believe, as shut down as I remember when he signed there. Everyone thought it was a big deal and no one really talks about him anymore. But at the same time, when your other teammate is Xavier Howard, who was a second-round pick that no one might not have really known about, to then becoming an All-Pro second-team Pro Bowler, just like Byron in 2018. And then after, only playing 5 games, he came back in 2020. He led the league in interceptions and pass defense. He was AP number 1 All-Pro. He's a Pro Bowler. He was 3rd in DPOY. I think he should have won it, even though I know TJ had a great year, and I know Aaron Donald won it. I think Xavier should have won it that year. And then in 2021, Pro Bowl as well. He's been an elite cornerback, one of the best in the league. So, yeah. As for Tino, he could become a second stringer, but I feel this is one of those where it's going to be a lot harder to make the roster than some of these other guys, as when you have 3 legit cornerbacks that are solid in the 2 starters and then need him, and then you have Noah Igonagane, and if you're a franchise, especially like one that, wants to have pride in themselves, you don't want to cut bait on a guy you just got in the first round 2 years ago. So I think he could become a 3rd stringer, but he's definitely going to have to, work really hard to get on this roster. But we'll see. This has been Zom Fox. If you enjoy this content, want to be notified as soon as I upload any videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. And as always, have a great night.